All right, my name is Scott Fardulis, and I'm here in Auckland, New Zealand, and we're going to be talking about the compensation plan for anyone getting started and moving into leadership roles. So your first objective when you enter longevity, when you decide to become an independent marketing director, you want to always begin the business with a CEO pack. A lot of times people ask me, what about other options? Can I get started with something besides a CEO pack? My answer is no. Everyone gets started with a CEO pack. This is a business. The reason we come into longevity isn't so that we can just find another good store to shop from. It's because we have goals, we have dreams, we have objectives, we have agendas, and there's a reason why we're going to build this business. And the reason we're going to build this business is individualized. However, I've come to know that all reasons fall into one of three categories, one of three silo containers. One is because we're looking to live physically with the best health we can possibly experience going through the rest of our lives. We want the rest of our life to be the best of our life physically. So we call that physical health. And then the second reason that people will build this business is for financial health. So I like to talk about those two things as two sides of the same coin. So one side is physical health, the other side is financial health, and then there's a net outcome of that. The net out, the big reward, so to speak, of doing what we do is so that you can ultimately own your time. If you don't own your time, then you will always be a slave. I know it sounds a little bit direct and harsh. However, you're giving up your life. By having a job, you're giving up your life. What do we mean by that? You're giving up your time. You're choosing to go put in an 8 to 10 hour workday, not to mention drive time, coming and going, the stress of traffic, the 1 hour lunch break you're supposed to take, and any prep time that goes into your workday. Ultimately people don't realize it. They think that because they're getting paid to put in 8 hours, that's really all they're working. But the reality is there's a lot more going on besides an 8-hour workday. It really means 10, sometimes 12 hours a day. So at the end of that time period, we're giving up our best waking hours for somebody else instead of giving the best of ourselves to ourselves and to our spouses and to our families, our children, etc. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the three reasons. No matter what people come up with, it always finds a home with health, money, and time. So that being said, that's why people have to get a CEO pack. If you don't help your people get started with a CEO pack, they will never own their time. Do you understand that they will never own their time? Yeah. So that's why you have to get a CEO pack. And all dreams take time. True or false? So
true.
You get started. Here's what your structure needs to look like. Okay, so this is you, and you are now a CEO, and that means that you have ordered a CEO pack for approximately $725. Okay, so your next objective is to build a team of people who also order CEO packs. So you need a CEO qualified person here, you need a CEO qualified person here, you need a CEO here, and you need a CEO here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a dotted line right here that'll look a little funny for a second. And this dotted line represents the fact that there's 3 people here and there's a 4th person on the other side of the dotted line. And I'll explain the dotted line in a second. However, number 1 CEO, number 2 CEO, number 3 CEO, and a number 4 CEO. Excuse me, number 4 CEO. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Why 4? Well, the reason why you want to build a team as quickly as possible with 4 CEOs is because this is the structure that earns this amount of money back. You want to put the $725 back into your pocket as quickly as possible. And here's what I firmly believe, and this is just from experience. When you master the invite, which some of you saw happen today, when you master the invite and you're just at a place to where you understand that the objective of every conversation isn't to explain details, it's just to set the appointment, which is what you witnessed today. You just set an appointment, you give permission to show the plan. once you show the plan, there are way more reasons for people to say yes than there are for people to say no. So you have to have the mentality and the confidence to know that every time you show the plan, it is beckoning people. It's pleading with people. This is so simple. This is the simplest method to achieve your ticket to freedom. And the alternatives are so bleak. People will get that. So trust the process, that if you just present with confidence what the plan is, they'll say yes. So as fast as you can do this, you're going to get your money back. So people say all the time, well, how long will it take for me to put that money back in my pocket? The answer is, as fast as you can introduce 4 people to the plan is as fast as you can get your money back. So there you go. Now that you have your money back, you want to look at the structure from a strategic standpoint. So the strategy here is that this configuration right here, just these 3 people, this creates what we call a regional marketing director or an executive marketing director. Let me explain both of these. If you look at your compensation plan sheet, regional marketing director is when you have a minimum order of 150 QV. Okay, 150 QV. And each of these 3 people right here, I'll explain the dotted line in a second, each of these 3 people, 1, 2, 3, each have minimum orders of 50 QV. So that's a tripod, if you will, of 300. So this right here, including yourself, is, well, let me write it a different way. It's 300 QV. Can you see that? Okay. So in order for you to be a regional marketing director, it's 150 for you and a minimum of 50 QV for them. That's how we get 300 QV. That promotes you to the title of regional marketing director. All right, so that's really the first position of significance in the compensation plan. However, I'm going to point out the obvious. I just explained minimums, and I don't like minimums to become people's maximums. So I don't even like to talk about regional marketing director, except that people understand that it's an important position of duplication, because that's what elevates you to what we call senior executive marketing director. But first, you're going to come to executive marketing director. An executive marketing director, EMD, is when you personally have 200 QV, and each of these individuals have 100 QV. All right, now you have a little tripod of something else. Right here you have a total of 500 QV in the tripod, and then the second requirement is that you have 1,000 QV inside your first 3 levels. So your organization can be bigger than this, however, it must be a minimum structure of this right here. And first 3 levels means this is level 1, whoever they introduce is level 2, and whoever they introduce is level 3. So inside your first 3 levels, you need to have 1,000 QV, and you need to have 200, 100 here. That's a total of 500 between you and 3 people, and that's how you become an EMD. Now let's talk about Senior Executive Marketing Director. This is big. Senior Executive Marketing Director is the first position in the compensation plan that is really geared toward running a very profitable business. You'll have a profitable business. At this point, the products that you're purchasing are free for the most part. That's my experience anyways. I'm not saying that's a fact, it's just my experience. And most people's experience is that by this time, the products that you're purchasing through the company, that you're replacing your habits with by shopping somewhere else and moving it to longevity, your business is now in the black from this moment forward. So Senior Executive Marketing Director is really important. And in order to become a Senior Executive Marketing Director, you must have 250 QV in your own personal order. Your own personal order every month needs to be 250 QV. And then, now we get to erase this here because we're going to expand this diagram. Notice I haven't talked about person number 4 yet on this side of the dotted line. I'll come there in a second. It was significant to get your money back. With Senior Executive Marketing Director, you must have 3 regional marketing directors. And so that structure is going to look exactly like this. Okay? So 3 people getting 3 people. If you look closely at each one of these qualified CEOs, 1, 2, 3, they've each got a minimum of 3 people. So a regional marketing director, again, looks like this. It's the 300 tripod. You've got 150 QV here, and you have a minimum of 50 in each of these 3 people right here. So again, here's that 300 QV tripod that I was talking about. Does this make sense? Okay, so you need to have 3 of those, and you do now. You have 1, 2, 3. So you must have 3 regional marketing directors. That's number 1 to qualify for SEMD. Number 2 is you must have 250 QV in your personal order, which you do. And then the third requirement for Senior Executive Marketing Director is to have 5,400. That's 5,400 QV in your first 3 levels. Okay, 5,400 in your first 3 levels. So you've got 1 level, 2 level, and whoever these 9 people introduce to the company, that would constitute as your 3rd level. So that's how you become a qualified Senior Executive Marketing Director. Now, if you want to earn the car bonus at the Senior Executive Marketing Director level, which is the first place that you can earn the car bonus is right here at this position, then you must personally enroll. So listen very carefully. You must personally enroll 12 individuals personally that all have a minimum order of 100 QV. So this is an example showing that you've enrolled 4. You need to enroll 8 more individuals personally with minimum orders of 100 QV if you want to have your car paid for and maintain the qualifications that are already mentioned as a Senior Executive Marketing Director. Now, people ask me all the time, do I have to personally sponsor all 12 people? And the answer is no. You need to be the enroller to 12 people. However, you can place people underneath other individuals if you choose. So, for example, let's just play this out. You might have personally sponsored these 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may personally have sponsored those individuals. You may choose for the other 8 to sponsor some others, or you may choose to place them anywhere you would like to. So, for example, you could be the enroller here, and here, and here, and here, and here, etc., and let someone else be the sponsor because you're assisting them in their qualification for another position by placing somebody under another individual. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
What I'm suggesting? Okay. Now, I haven't talked about the coding bonus yet, which I'll do in just a few minutes. The coding bonus follows the enroller, not the sponsor. So you're not penalized if you choose to allow someone else to sponsor the person you've enrolled. Are you with me? Okay, so when you place somebody underneath another individual, you're still the enroller, although they're the sponsor. And the coding bonus tracks the enroller, not the sponsor. That's really important for everybody to understand. The coding bonus tracks the enroller, not the sponsor. Okay? So that's how the coding bonus works. Now I'm going to talk about this dotted line. Everybody can see this dotted line right here. The reason why I drew a dotted line between person number 3 and person number 4 is because, and check this out, the 4th person that you enroll personally activates the coding bonus. So I always teach people that right out of the gate, they want to go sponsor and enroll 4 people as fast as possible. 2 reasons. Number 1 reason, it takes 4 to put all the money from your own CEO pack back into your pocket. That's the first reason that you want to enroll 4 people, sponsor and enroll 4 people as quickly as you can. And I believe that it should not take longer than 1 week to do this. The reason I feel that it shouldn't take longer than a week is because I believe we're all capable of making a short list of people and working with whoever introduced you to the company. So if I've introduced someone to the company, the thing that matters most quickly is that you teach them how to do the invite. And they should be able to make a list. You teach the invite to them within minutes, not hours or days or weeks, minutes. You teach them the invite. And you role play it and you rehearse it just long enough where they say, okay, I can do that. And you say, okay, let's do it together. You call, I'll listen. When you're done, we'll talk about it. We'll go through it and we'll just make little tweaks, little course corrections, and then you will ultimately be a master of this invite. And we want people to be a master of the invite because it takes, as some of you witnessed me do today, it took 30 seconds to have a short dialogue and get permission to have an appointment with somebody. And that's what you're doing with your list, is you're getting the appointment. You get the appointment for some period of time in the next couple of days max. So if we can all call a half a dozen people today, each conversational invite isn't longer than a minute, 2 at the max. If we're talking longer than that, we're talking way too long. So that's about how long it takes to schedule 6 people to see the plan. And once they see the plan, they're going to be, wow, they're going to be amazed. You'd have to believe that. If you don't believe that, we have to have some conversations so we get your belief system where it needs to be, and you can just get through the invites. So, again, the dotted line, this person right here, this person number 4 triggers the coding bonus. Until you've enrolled the 4th person, you will not receive the coding bonus. And we want you to be coded. The coding bonus is calculated every week. So every week they look and see at what rank have you achieved thus far. And whatever that is, that's the code that you're going to get paid starting with person number 4, not starting with 1, 2, or 3. You will not earn code on your first 3 people. You'll earn code on person number 4 and everybody beyond person number 4 that you enroll and their teams. You got that?
Yep.
Okay, so no one gets code on number 1, 2, and 3. You get code on number 4 and everyone and beyond in that person's organization. So this is the reason why I want you to get to number 4 as fast as possible, so you trigger the coding bonus and you've gotten all of your money back. So we've talked about the car bonus. Everybody understands if you want the car bonus, you need to be a senior executive marketing director. You know how to do that. You need to have personally enrolled 12 people at 100 QV. That triggers the car bonus. It will start at it'll fluctuate between a number and a higher number. And I don't know the conversion in New Zealand dollars for the car bonus. Can someone help me with that real quickly? Does anybody know?
It's 300 US.
It's 300 US and it goes to 1,000 US. So whatever your conversion ratio is off of that, that's what the car bonus pays out.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions so far? Yes.
The coding bonus, I understand it starts from your fourth person.
Yes, from person number 4.
And everyone down from that.
Yes.
So also not from your first 3 people down.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. You will not earn code off of any of these teams right here.
Also not if they're down now, so you're 4.
Yeah, you will not earn coding from any of these people.
Unless you place someone
unless you place someone under them. So if you choose,
So if you get a good person.
if you choose to enroll somebody and stick them back, say here, then you can get coding from that person down, and whatever title you are in the compensation plan, at the time that you place them, that is the amount of code that you'll get paid on forever on that person that you placed here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so once coded, always coded. So say you're a senior executive marketing director in the compensation plan, and you're now getting $100 US dollars of code on every person that you enroll while you're a senior executive marketing director. But let's say that the next month you qualify in the next month as an executive marketing director in the regular compensation plan or the unilevel bonus. You're still going to receive the senior executive marketing director code. Once coded, always coded. You can never lose the code or be dropped down in code no matter what. And I love that about the coding bonus. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Follow what I'm saying? Okay.
So I've got a family member on my third, as my third CEO.
Yes?
And if in the future I want to work with his group, or help him work with his group, and I have an idea to sign up one of my new CEOs under him, is that commonly done?
You're asking a very unique question. Is it commonly done that you would take a CEO that you've introduced to the business and put them under somebody else?
It's a family member, so I would only do it in that instance.
You know, that's a very personalized question. The question is, you know, would you help out a family member? If you had a CEO that was coming into the business, would you place a CEO that you went out and worked to create and place them under a family member? I treat family most of the time the same way I do a non-family member. Because here's what happens. Family members, like it or not, they will take advantage of you. They will, because you're blood. You're related. You're supposed to help your family out. You're supposed to create dependent, not codependency inside of your team. You create independence, not codependency. And I don't care if they're family or not. Family is worse. They'll take advantage of you worse than someone that isn't a family member will. So if you just give your family member a CEO, they go, ah, Trish, thank you so much for that new CEO. What else are you going to do for me? And now you're feeding people, not teaching them to fish. Yes?
If you have for example, in my case, I've got 4 CEOs on my front line.
Okay, 4 on your front line.
One isn't ordering any product anymore.
One of them has gone rogue. They're not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
Okay?
They're not even ordering product, so I need to replace that person presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do. So pretend like you have 3 and you want to go sponsor a brand new CEO into the business, so you have 4 active, building, producing leaders. That's what you want.
But once you've got the 4, you got the code,
Yes?
and if that person's one of the first 3 and they never do anything, it doesn't interfere with you getting the code because you already had 4, right?
That's correct.
That's actually the question.
I think
Yes.
that was the question.
Okay, so just to repeat, even though you have one person that has stopped producing, you are still getting the code that you earned with these people. If one of them stops, that doesn't penalize you ever in continuing to get your coding bonus. Is that validating what the point is?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, if you look at your sheets, and you duplicated 4 CEOs, it takes 3, so this side of the dotted line, it takes 4 CEOs who have become senior executive marketing directors. So when number 1, 2, and 3 have become senior executive marketing directors, then you are now a what? A vice presidential marketing director. So vice presidential marketing director moves you up in the coding bonus to 140. You have a 140 code now. What does that mean? It means the next person that you introduce to the business, you're going to receive your fast start bonus, you're going to receive your quick start bonus, and you're going to receive your coding bonus of $140 US. Okay? So that's big. And the first 3 people that they introduce, so let's say that it looks just like this. The first 3 people they introduce, you get all of the code at 140 on the people they introduce. Do you got that? And then the first 3 people each of them introduce, you get all of the code at 140. And the first 3 people they introduce, you get all of the code at 140 in that theoretical example, all the way down. Everybody's first 3, you're getting the coding bonus on.
Right.
They start getting the coding bonus when, just like you, they've introduced the fourth person. Then, on that fourth person, they will take whatever code they qualified for, and you get the difference of that in 140. Got it? Okay, you get the difference of what they qualified for and the level that you're qualified for. You get that, and that starts with person number 4. So if they want to eat up more of the code, they have to go introduce person number 5. So maybe by person number 5, they've gotten another promotion, and maybe you have or have not, whatever title you're at and whatever title they are, when they introduce the new person, you get the difference of what they're qualified for and what you're qualified for at the time that they introduce the new person. And I know the coding bonus is kind of a deep subject, however, just know that it works. Whether you fully understand it or not, it's a very, very powerful bonus. We've never been disappointed about how powerful this coding bonus is. It's a big bonus, and once you get into code, it adds a whole nother dimension to your income that you just don't want to leave on the table. So that's why you want to move as fast as possible through the different ranks, because obviously the higher you go through the ranks, the more code is being created. The wider you go, the smarter. It creates more code. Because the wider you go, helps you rank advance, and as you rank advance, your coding bonuses go up. So width is profitability on your coding bonus.
So that speaks against placing people under, because if I place a CEO under there, that doesn't help me to qualify for the next rank.
That's correct. So the downfall of placing people underneath other leaders that already exist, even though the code will follow you, they could go out and become a superstar. And they could rank advance, but because it's not in your width, you need more legs of width with qualified SEMDs. So if that person you place becomes an SEMD, that does not build a new leg that helps you get promoted. That's the downfall.
Important.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why would you?
And by the way, I have learned this lesson. I have learned, believe you me, I'm telling you this and I'm emphasizing it because I've learned. In the beginning, boy, did I think I was doing some favors. I had some people that were right there, and they were asking if I could help them out, and being a nice guy that I am, oh sure, I'll help you out. And then I've placed some amazing people that I didn't even think would be amazing. When I placed them, I just thought they were just people, and all of a sudden, boom, they erupt like, one of your volcanoes out here in the ocean, and I'm sitting there going, wow, aren't they fortunate? Boy, did I bless them. But it didn't help me at all, because it created a new leg for them, not for me. So keep that in mind.
And it doesn't qualify them either, because they haven't personally sponsored.
You don't need to be the personal sponsor. You don't need to be the enroller. You could have been given somebody that you're allowed to sponsor that someone else enrolled, and you do not have to be the sponsor or the enroller. It's anybody that's in one of your legs that hits SEMD, it's a qualified SEMD leg.
Oh, okay.
So for example, the person that you introduce may not be the SEMD.
Yeah.
This person may be the SEMD.
Very cool.
And it's as long as somebody, so let's play this out again. This person introduces someone that introduces someone. None of these people became SEMDs, however that person did. That's an SEMD leg.
Okay.
And that just made your understanding of qualifying at these different positions a whole lot easier, because I think sometimes we really get too analytical or deep thinking about who is going to be the person that really shines, and don't worry about it. Just pretend like you're making a big batch of soup, and you've got 20 ingredients that go in the soup. Just put them in the soup, and the best of the ingredients always rise to the surface and make themselves known, and so you get the nice aromas or the perfect flavoring on the palate, and they'll let you know who the best flavoring on the palate is. The cream will always rise to the top, so don't worry about if it's someone that you know personally. It could be someone that they know personally. That counts. Is everybody clear on this?
So it doesn't matter how deep the SMD leg is then in that case?
It does not matter how deep it is. Nope.
That's rather cool.
So it sounds
That's-
like there wouldn't really be any reason to, if you enroll someone, to place them under someone else. Why would you wouldn't?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why you'd think about it. And I've been down this road myself as well. So let's say that you are shooting to become a senior executive marketing director, okay? And you need how many regional marketing directors to become a senior executive marketing director? 3, right? You need 3. So 1, 2, 3. And they must be on your first level. So unlike all other positions after senior executive marketing director, it's always about an SEMD leg. Until you become an SEMD, everything has to be on your first level. So you need 3 regional marketing directors on your first level to become a senior executive marketing director. So why would you place somebody? Well, here's why. You've got 1, 2 RMDs that are qualified. It's the end of the month. You've got a third leg that's unqualified, and they've only got 1 other person underneath them that has a 50 QB order or greater. So logically, you're going, wow, this person is short by 2 50 QB orders. So say you've got them over here, you've already put them in the business, they're on your first level, you're allowed to move for 60 days. You're allowed to move anybody that you have sponsored and enrolled onto your first level. So at that moment, you could choose to take someone like this person here, number 4, and maybe you have a number 5 over here. You could take these individuals and move them down, even if they're CEOs. You could take 2 CEOs and move them down here to close off that qualification and get the regional marketing director that moves you into qualification for SEMD. Follow that?
And then moves them back.
What's that?
And then moves them back.
No.
No, once you move them, you move them. That would be nice. That was the point I was making, is once they're there, they're there.
Isn't that just short-term thinking?
It's short-term thinking.
So you wouldn't really want
No,
to.
here's what you do. Here's what you do. And I'm more explaining the mistake, and this is good training, even on camera. I'm explaining the mistake. Why is it that people would do that? It's because they're thinking short-term, like, I can fix this myself. But what you need to do is go to this person and create the value for why they need to be a qualified regional marketing director. That's what you need to do. You need to create the value. So it's the end of the month. I could do it for them, which is really handicapping myself, and it's creating codependency in them instead of independence. And so you call them on the phone, you say, hey, this is Tanya, and John, I want you to know that you are 2 individuals away from qualifying regional marketing director. What can I do to help you? We put our heads together. I know we can come up with these 2 individuals. For goodness sakes, it's 100 QB. And so it's all about going to this person and saying, who's on your list? Who's on your list? That's where you start. And they go, well, here's my list. So everybody should have at least a list of 6, right? Everyone should have a list. This is, even if you have a list of 50, who's on the short list? That's your 6, the people you can call right now. Bam, bam, bam. Set those appointments. Oh, well, I haven't gotten to them yet. Okay, well, we've got 3 days left in the month. Let's get on the phone, right? Do you need help? Do you need support? Do we need to rehearse the invite again? Are you a little nervous? Is there something holding you? Talk to me. And so you get through all that, you get to the place where you call them, you set the appointments, you show them the plan, because chances are they're both going to say yes. That's how you do that. Right? Okay. Any other questions?
You can go EMD just with 2 CEOs and 1 IMD.
You can go executive marketing director with 2 CEOs and 1 IMD, correct. CEOs, that's 2 500 QB orders, and then an IMD for the camera is 100 QB. So certainly you can definitely do that. But let me show you, I'm going to erase this now, and I want to show you the 30-day strategy. This is your 30-day compensation plan strategy from 0 to hero. All right, 0 to hero. You want to be an SEMD, so if you want to take a picture, go ahead and take a picture of that. Got that? Here we go. So I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to show you the 30-day strategy from 0 to SEMD. And it is fantastic. So start over here. Okay. So you're brand new and you've just seen the plan. And the first decision you need to make, number one, is your reason for building this business. What is the reason you're saying yes? I have everybody do that exercise. If we do not get past this, forget about it. I'm not sponsoring you. I'm not letting you in the door. We're at an impasse, okay? This is critical. Before you allow anybody to order a CEO pack, ask them why they feel inclined to do that. And they're going to give you a reason. They're going to say something like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what? This Auckland traffic around here is for the birds. I have had it with this rush hour traffic. If I don't have to do that one more day of my life, I'm a happy camper. I've got a daughter that's getting wedded off here in a year from now. And by George, I'm going to pay cash for that thing. If it's the last thing I do, I'm paying cash. I'm not making her have to finance her own wedding. I've got $30,000 of credit card debt on 6 different cards. I'm so stressed out with credit card debt, I feel like all I'm doing every day is just working to pay my minimum payments on credit cards. My credit's horrible. There's another one. I want to restore my credit, and I know I need to start making my payments on time and not being late. See these reasons? Well, you've got to get people to voice that. When they're done, they need to have written it out, and then you need to take a picture of it. So have your person write it out and then snap a picture. This will come up later, believe me. So now you've got a copy of the reason they're building the business. Number 2 is CEO pack ordered and commit to using all products. Not just the CEO pack. Commit to using all the products. Help your people be familiar. So, what is there? There's like 9 products in the CEO pack or something like that. So if you don't explain clearly that we've got all these niches and we're a big, eclectic, holistic family of brands, they might say later, why didn't you tell me we had coffee? I've been buying it from XYZ place this whole time. I could have gotten it from Longevity. You're right. Why didn't you tell me we had essential oils? Why didn't you tell me we had jewelry? Why didn't you tell me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure people are familiar with what's available. And that's the CEO pack. And then number 3 is create and build a list of 6. Why 6? Everybody says that's a weird number. Why not 5 or 10? 6 is kind of odd. 6 is because for those of you that are analytical or scientifically wired and minded, then 6, using the law of averages, if you show the plan to 6 people, the law of averages says if you do the plan correctly by using a third-party higher authority, the system that we put together, and they have a correct introduction to the company, then at least 4 out of those 6 are going to say yes. So how many people did it take to get your money back? 4. So if you want to for sure have 4, the highest likelihood that you get those 4, book 6 appointments that all see the plan. That's why the list of 6. So, number 4 is engage. Engage. This means plug in, get involved, become active, commit, help your people commit to all the things they can do during the week. People ask me all the time, Scott, how much time is this going to take for me to really build the business the way that I need the business to get built because of this reason right here? This reason for me is pretty big. How long is it going to take? And how much time do I have to put in? And the answer is you put in as much time as you can. There is no right or wrong answer. There isn't a set amount of, like your boss The reason people ask that question is because they're used to being told what to do. They know that if the boss tells me to do this, then I get that. If I put in 40 hours a week, I get paid this. Here, it doesn't work that way. It's working smart, not working hard. So you work as smart as you can, and that means following the yellow brick road. Follow the systems, follow the processes, follow the path that's been laid out. Don't reinvent wheels, don't forge different paths. Stay on the path, stay in the lane. That's what you want to do. And the answer to the question is, how much time do you put in? As much as you can. And whatever is the best you can do is good enough, always. So there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no condemnation, there's no blame. It's just you do the best you can with your time. That's what engage means. There's conference calls. There are physical meetings that you can participate and come to. There's Super Saturday trainings. There's conventions. Here's what you should know. In 27 years now that my wife and I have been in this industry, when it comes to major conventions and events, Super Saturdays, major events, we don't miss anything. Nothing. Ever. There's never an excuse, barring, a major emergency, and we just haven't had any major emergencies. Sometimes we invent major emergencies that we think are those, but they're not really major emergencies. That's just your chicken exit. There's a difference between a chicken exit and a real serious major emergency. So I say, listen, you've got the November 6 and 7 and 8. Auckland, New Zealand. Like, people complain, oh, everything's always over the ocean somewhere. We've got to spend the big bucks. We've got to buy a couple $1,000 tickets and then hotels and all this stuff. Not anymore. It's coming to your backyard. There will be no excuses. Everybody gets registered. Everybody engages. Everybody, no excuses, needs to be at the Auckland, New Zealand International. This isn't just for New Zealanders. It's Australasia. It's the International Australasian Convention, and it's being held in your backyard. You want to pack the house. You want to go ballistic on building your business right now, so that by the time that thing gets here, you're not at the last minute winging it like, oh, you should come and see how awesome our company is. No, you should have 50 people all singing that message together, in harmony, in unison. It's going to sound like the choir. And when you're sitting there at that convention and you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 people from your team all sitting in there, let me tell you something. For every person that you bring to the convention, here, and this is a statistical analysis across the industry that somebody came up with. And here's what that statistic says. For every person that you take to the convention, over the next 12 months, 1 becomes 100. So, do you want 100 people in a year? You take 1 person to the convention. Do you want 500 people in the next year? Take 5 people. Want 1,000? Take 10. That's how you launch your business in the biggest way possible. So, these are the 4 things that are going on here. And that said, let me use a different color. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get started and you order a CEO pack, how much QV is that?
500.
It's 500 QV. And then this person orders a CEO pack. Because who gets a CEO pack?
Everyone.
Everybody gets a CEO pack. Who doesn't get a CEO pack? Nobody. Nobody gets. Everyone gets one, and nobody doesn't get one. So everybody gets a CEO pack. Nobody doesn't get one. Double negative. Okay, now tell me, how much QV do you have right now?
2.5.
You have 2,500 QV right there, correct? That needs to take you 1 week. Because you're an instant decision. That's something you can control. And then the 6 people here, this should take like 48 hours to run your 6 people down. Now here's what's great. Plan A is show the plan. That's what STP stands for. Show the plan. That means physically show the plan. Physically bring people to a social setting where individuals can feel warm and fuzzy and say, wow, I could be one of these people. I love these people. This is great. Show the plan. If that doesn't work, plan B equals webinar. We've recorded a webinar, and you can take the webinar and say, push play. And when they push play, they'll see the plan. So why should someone see a webinar versus plan A physically showing them the plan if they're at distance? Maybe you know somebody in Singapore. Maybe you know somebody in Australia. Maybe you know somebody back in the States. They're not going to come to Auckland to sit in this room to see the plan. So you need to make it possible for them. So the first strategy is where they live, can you send them to a physical location to see the plan? If the answer is yes, stick to plan A. If the answer is no, it's too far or one doesn't exist anywhere near them and it's unrealistic, then send them the link to the webinar. And after I leave here, we're going to have to create another webinar. So the one that I created had a timestamp on it, and we don't want that to be on the webinar after this coming weekend. So we'll create a new one, which will be perfect. So that's how you engage. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So in 1 week, you have week 1. Now what's great about this is that you showed that you could take 6 people and book them all into seeing the plan inside of a 7-day period. And the way to do that is to get with people on the phone and ask them the question, in the next 48 hours, what would be the best time for us to get together? And you want to attempt to get them into an evening meeting. That's what you want to do, is invite them into it. That's plan A. Plan B is belly to belly, because an evening doesn't work for them. Something's up every night of the week that you guys offer, nightly overviews. So then get belly to belly, but make sure you take a third-party expert with you. Don't you, as a new person, show your new people the plan, even if you think you can, because they're going to judge you on who they know you to be, not on being a longevity expert, even if you really are one. Does that make sense? Okay, that's a fatal flaw, by the way. So here's what happens next. You take, I'm going to draw this back again in black. You take these individuals and you teach them to do the same. The difference, and I'm going to actually dumb this down here just a smidgen. So let's just say 3 for them. Okay, so I'm going to make a point here out of this. You got 4. One person does nothing to get 3. And 3 of your people follow through and get 3 instead of 4. So you see how that's reducing? They're not fully duplicating what you did, and that's the point. So they're going to do less than you did and have 3 times longer to do it. They get 3 weeks, you only took 1. So you did more in 1 week, and they did less than you over 3 times longer. So over weeks 2, 3, and 4, they only get 3. You see how that works out? So this makes it very believable and very acceptable that these people could duplicate less over 3 times the length of time. So here we go. So these individuals each have 3 weeks to pull off less. So inside of each of these circles here, you've got 500 apiece. So 1,500 here, 1,500 here, 1,500 here. We have 4,500 QV on your second level, and we have 2,000 QV on your first level, and we have 500 QV through you. add all that together, and if my math is right, that is 7,000 QV. Remember the qualification for SEMD?
Yeah.
What was the total volume needed for
5,400.
5,400, correct? I'm sorry, there should not be a dollar sign here. That's a totally separate subject. Get rid of the dollar sign. 7,000 QV. So 5,400, you superseded it by 1,600 QV. Then the second qualification is you needed to have a personal order of 250. Do you have that one checked off? Yep. You needed 3 people on your first level that were regional marketing directors. Do you have that checked off? Yeah, because here's one right here. Regional marketing director was 150 and 3 people at 50. You superseded it by 1,700 QV. The volume coming out of each one of these pods right here. It was 300 minimum, but you've done 2,000 in each of those legs. Why? Because minimums are not our maximums. Everyone gets a CEO pack. So there they are. And by the way, here's what's awesome. You got all your money back in this scenario, and each of these individuals in this theoretical example almost have. That's a pretty successful month right there. And if you will duplicate this and get your list of 6, teach the invite so people don't delay. That's the fatal flaw. The fatal flaw in everything is that people walk away from here and they're like, yes, this is so exciting. I'm ready to rock and roll. And then a week later, you finally get through to them. How's it going? And you know the answer already. Because good news always comes back immediately. Bad news is quiet. It's like if there's no conversation going on, it means nothing happened. So if you haven't been talking with people for a while, it means nothing's happened and they're avoiding you. So that's why immediately, the first thing you do, okay, great. All of this goes perfectly. Here's where you come back now and focus. You focus, 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 focus on number 3. If number 3 isn't happening, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. No duplication, nobody's making money, their team isn't growing, nothing's getting built. So this is critical right here. I beat the snot out of number 3. Number 3, there's the big square around it, highlights the whole thing. If number 3 is going well and everybody's comfortable with number 3, you're in the black. You're making money, everybody's rank advancing, things are great. How do you like this example right here? You like it? Excellent. And by the way, in the first week, you're in the code and you've qualified as executive marketing director, not regional marketing director, your first week in the business. So you get the higher coding bonus. And that carries with you down here as these people are duplicating. So that's the compensation plan. That's how you go from 0 to hero or independent marketing director to senior executive marketing director. Your first 30 days, all the money back, everybody's duplicating. Great stuff. Thanks for tuning in.